I grew up in New Orleans, and the summers there are so hot and humid. Now, as a kid, one of our neighbors, Miss June, happened to have a pool. And every summer, she'd let all the neighborhood kids swim in it all day for a quarter. Now, as kind as Miss June was, she was not the nurturing type. Man, she was tough. She was short, stout, had salt and pepper shoulder length hair, and she always had a cigarette in her hand. And she had this gravelly, raspy voice. Now, when I was 8, my mother let me swim there for the very first time, and I was so excited. You have to understand, I was moving up in the world. There was playing in the hose, and then there was swimming at Miss June's, and every kid wanted in. Mikey, Joey, Kendall, Scotty, Louie, Mark, Sandy, the Poche brothers, the three Dweezan sisters, Sharon, Toogie, and me, Jimmy. Now, at the beginning of the summer, she'd give us a swim test. She'd line us all up at the edge of the pool, and then she'd say, "Now, I'm not your babysitter. If you can't swim, you're not going in." And then we had to swim back and forth across the pool a bunch of times. And then she had us tread water, which I was not good at. And I think Miss June could tell I was nervous because she leans over, cigarette in hand, and says, "Now, darling, it's just like swimming, but upright. Now get in." Man, I'm telling you, I was so nervous. I can tell you, there was not one graceful stroke. I was coughing and spitting water everywhere. Now, after what seemed like an eternity, Miss June blew her whistle. And, well, I guess I didn't drown, so I passed. Now, about a month into that first summer, it was a typical hot, muggy day. So I threw on my little Speedo, I beelined for the pool, I flipped a quarter in the coffee can, I threw down my towel, and I jumped in the pool. Everybody was there. They were splashing and laughing, and then all of a sudden everybody was screaming and jumping out. They're shoving and yelling. So I get out, and I said, "What happened?" And Drew yells, "Scotty peed in the pool." All of a sudden, Miss June comes out. She starts yelling, "What's going on out here?" Now, nobody confessed to the accident, but certainly we were all willing to point fingers at each other. She got so mad and frustrated, she says, "I don't care who did it. If you kids can't follow the rules, pool's closed." And she kicked us all out. She closed the pool for 2 weeks that summer. Every day we sat outside of her house, lined up on the curb. Mikey, Joey, Kendall, Scotty, Louie, Mark, Sandy, the Poche brothers, three Dweezan sisters, Sharon, and me, Jimmy. Oh, and Toogie too. All hot, sweaty, whining, complaining, and elbowing each other. It was a miserable 2 weeks. And there's no better place to get a feel for this than in the workplace. It's one big pool. One action by anyone affects everyone. Look, accountability is crucial to growth, and how a leader chooses to hold people accountable can stifle that growth. If you're not deliberate, it can be just as impactful as the one who warmed the water from the start. So be sure your approach doesn't make the good pay the cost for the bad, or you're going to leave a lot of people sitting on the curb.